Okay, I'm finally recording. Hello, guys. I've been trying to do this all day and I kept losing my temper. But I live in Pennsylvania and there's a lot of traffic. And it is just a hot mess out here today. It's kind of like muddy and squelchy and it's cold and there's snow and like a little ice. And it's a hot mess is what it is. And I was raging against the machine today. I was like, I don't accept this. And the universe is like, tough. You live in Pennsylvania. This is reality for you, my dear. So I am going to, kind of wrap this up. But what I really wanted you to do is see the hair color in the sunlight. That is why I have been knocking myself out all day, trying to make you, there goes the pause, trying to make you a video. And I don't know if I'm really zen now or I'm just so angry that I can't feel any emotion at this point. But I will see you guys inside. Well, hello guys, welcome back. I wish I kept the recording where it was happening, but you couldn't hear it anyways. And I thought I was going crazy, but I was hearing, as I was trying to make this epic recording about Loki, I was hearing something like a fox walking on linoleum, and I know that song because I've watched so much of Loki the Red Fox and Riot the Red Fox and everything the Red Fox, and it was that distinctive sound. At first I thought, well, maybe it's like a ghost cat, but it was like dog claws, not cat claws, and then I'm like, well, all of our dogs were like pretty weighty. This was a distinctive sound of a fox clopping around when their claws are long. And he kept coming from, like, the doorway to the stove and he stopped. Doorway to the stove and he stopped. I thought, okay, he wants KFC because he is chicken crazy with me. He is, like, chicken crazy. Chicken. And I didn't have any chicken. I only had turkey. But he kept coming to the oven. And we stopped. He stopped. And finally, I said, look, I really can't go out. We went out early this week, though I don't think he partook of that. And I said, I'll get you down turkey. Turkey good? Turkey. So we got a turkey. And to shorten up the story a little, it was extremely tasty what we put together. No, he doesn't stand there and dictate, put in this much of this and this much of that. Sometimes it seems like it because my brain's kind of putting words to the inspiration I get. But, long story short, we made the dish and it was extremely tasty, and I made it and offered a bowl to him, and then I had it because we have zero budget to waste. And as I've said before, I live near the woods and I love all the little animals, but for one, I put garlic in this and a lot of animals would drop over dead from that. And for two, especially the little foxes, they can't tolerate garlic, I think it is, and maybe onion? I'm not sure, but also too, I love rats, I adore rats, I adored Ratty, but I don't want to have a family of 40 move into my front yard, because then you have trouble with the neighbors and, like, craziness. So, we made that, and that was beautiful, and I had a second bowl. And I thought, well, that's kind of how Loki provides. He's the kind of provider that you don't realize he's doing it. And if you ask him, did you do this thing? For a god that we like to say he's a rock star and he has an ego, at least with me, he will not take credit for anything he's done. It's kind of like he wants love for being Loki, purely for being Loki. He doesn't want love because he brought you food. He doesn't want love because he inspired you. He doesn't want love because he made a success out of you. In fact, he's even reacted negatively when I've said, "Oh, thank you so much." He's been like, "No, don't do that." You can thank him, and you should, but he really wants to be loved for his own self. And I realized as I went through recent events, I am like, he said weird stuff before, like he's my father, and I've been like, yeah, Loki, whatever. Because that's very awkward, obviously. And I do have that strong sense, at least with the Loki I deal with, because we all get like a different portion, that, you know, I'm the same way. If you don't actually appreciate me for me, I get really hurt. It's probably why I've always had trouble holding down a job. I'll be there, and if I'm happy to serve you and I try to be professional, and I do try to remember it's not all about me. You know, I'm not like come in and admire me, but at the same time I want you to like me as a human being and know I'm being genuinely friendly and genuinely caring towards you. And I usually like people. Usually. And like Loki, when I was doing the other channel and I was not getting that feedback, I was not getting I love you for you. I was getting I love you for the things you have and I love you for the things I want you to buy. Oh dear, excuse me. I did not feel happy. And I talked to my friend today, and I had been misunderstanding why I was so unhappy. I thought I was unhappy because, you know, it would take $1,500 separate, independent of what I live on now to run that channel. Because if you get into collecting, you know what I mean. People want the newest. They want you to have it first. They want you to pre-order. They want you to have this and that and Who Shot the Cat. And it is a lot of money. A lot of money. And I don't know too many people who have like a couple thousand laying around every month to just go, whatever. And I would get bored. I know I would. But, you know, that wasn't even the issue. I wasn't looking at the real issue. I was looking at the issue that I thought was just me being needy and whiny and a loser of, you know, wanting to be cared about as a person, wanting people to come in every day and say, hey, you're here, not, I want this, I want that. And I couldn't deal with that. I just have that eccentric personality that I like to be liked for me. I mean, I'm here, for example, to talk to you about Loki, and I am, and I want you to learn and be your teacher, but teachers also want to be liked. We don't want our students to hate us. As a writer, as a tutor and that, I didn't go out of my way to, you know, have my students hate me. I wanted them to respect me. Yeah, I do want respect. But I also wanted them to like me too, because, you know, students learn a lot easier if they like you. They don't learn if they're afraid of you or they think you're going to explode at random. Or if they hate you because you're too mean without, you know, reason. I would tell them why I was being hard on them. I would be like, because I am trying to prepare you. I know you don't like it. I never liked it at your age, but I am, you know, I am trying to do you a favor, honey, because I've been out in the world. I know how hard it is out here. So that was a really good lesson. And Loki kind of taught me by being the little hearth god and coming and saying, make me turkey. Make me turkey. And I'm like, okay. And he didn't even say it like that. It wasn't like it was like his talking fox. It was just, I kept hearing the fox claws and kept hearing the fox claws. And only thing I had was turkey. And I'm glad I had it. But the only thing I had was turkey. I was like, I do not have chicken, Loki. I'm just sorry. Nobody's stocking it that I can order it to be sent to the house. It's like the weirdest thing. And so I made that. And it was really super tasty. Very, very yum. We had 2 bowls of it. And, you know, that's how he teaches. He's actually a really humble teacher. That's his teaching style, at least with me. It was, have some food, and I inspired you, and you're welcome. And that was the lesson. And he knew that if he let me be, and let me be full, and let me talk as much as I felt like into a microphone, I would eventually get it. Yeah, so it was a good lesson. He's a really humble teacher. And he's back to being nice and gentle and sweet and wouldn't hurt a fly and, you know, all sweetness and kindness. And I'm pretty much convinced now that the evil, nasty side was, it felt like he was lifting a curse. It really did. It felt like he was lifting a curse. And I will leave that up rather, because it was terrible to go through. It was, but he realized he had to snarl and snap and be utterly cruel and make sure I made that separation. Because what I used to do is quit and know I had made the right decision, but always go crawling back. And he had to make sure I was so upset I would withdraw from everything and I would not go back until like the time passed and I had my head straight and I actually learned the lesson, which was that was not a good fit for me. And even if I had started making tons of money, it would have never been a good fit for me. So I'm actually thankful to him. He was a little mean because he kind of had to chase me away from feeling so attached to that and not facing the real issue I had with being on that channel. So that's good. So I learned my lesson. I learned that if I would go on to start like a fresh channel, I would have to either be totally impersonal, which is impossible for me, or I'd have to realize that I do need that feedback. I do need that interaction. I used to tell my students, I'm not talking to hear myself talk. I'm really not. You can jump in anytime you like. So yeah. He definitely teaches in mysterious ways, and I thought he wanted DQ and he wanted me to cook, and he inspired a lovely meal, and he's very pleased with himself because it's easy to forget the hearth god aspect because it's not his glamour aspect. That's not the glamorous aspect, because whenever we think of like hearth gods, we think back to the time, when they were openly worshipped, and there's nothing glamorous about a sooty dark house and there's like lice in the thatching and everything else. There's nothing glamorous or romantic about that. And as he always tells me, why do you humans always romanticize it? That was terrible and everybody stank and nobody bathed. Why do you humans think it was so awesome? So yeah. I hope you guys like what you see. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.